we're going to go on to the other Impact Hall of Fame inductees. It was Mike Tenay and Don West. Obviously, Don West passed away. I think it was either the last year or this year. And so
I think it was last year. I think
last year.
It could have been this year.
I'll find out. I'll find out in a second. Specifically, let's talk about Mike Tenay's contributions to TNA. Was it? I take it that was the first time you met Mike.
I think I'd met him before, but very briefly. And where I really got to know him is when he took over the head announcer job at TNA. And he's like an encyclopedia too. When you mention wrestling, he knows wrestling. I mean, I'm embarrassed when I sit around somebody who really knows wrestling, or anybody who really knows wrestling, because I am not an historian. I might say like, oh, well, I remember something about that, but whether I do it, I don't. But he knew it all. So, and I learned a lot by sitting down and talking to him. Very nice guy, very nice man. And when him and Don West got together, and Don West, I don't know what he was on. It had to be more than coffee, because he could talk 900 miles a minute. And he learned that on the Home Shopping Network, where he was pitching products, and he would go and go and go and go. And I asked him one time, Don, when do you breathe? Because he doesn't even look like he's breathing sometimes. But he is a funny guy and nice guy too. And when he got the job, he didn't even watch wrestling. He got the job because he did such a good job at being a pitchman for the Home Shopping Network or whatever that was. And Mike Tenay was there to tell the story, and Don West was there for the energy, because he had a lot of energy. And I think Don added a lot to the show, because they were very professional. And what else did Don say during his speech? He thanked a lot of people. Did he thank me?
Yeah. Let's say yes.
I don't like that. Wait a minute.
No, I
did
think
he thank me, and you went, yeah, a little bit, maybe.
I don't know. I watched all of Tracy Brooks's, and I didn't watch Mike Tenay's. I think he didn't really talk about himself that much. He talked mostly about Don.
Yeah.
So, do you know, I was thinking with Mike and Dom, those two as a team don't really seem to come up that often as, you know, great like pairings and commentary, but they really were really, really good. And especially considering that Don had zero experience when he started, and he just launched into it, and he was fine. Some of those early TNA tapings, like the initial pay-per-views, were so awful. And then, I mean, unwatchable. And then they were trying to get you to get like $9.95 or $9.99 to pay for next week's pay-per-view. This is in 2002, right? And Don West's pitch for why you should buy next week's was so good, it almost made you forget all the complete booking mistakes that you'd just seen in the previous 2 hours. That's how good Don was as a pitchman.
Well, he was very good, because I even ordered it one night myself.
Did you?
I got so excited. I said, I got to get it. I got to get it. And I got my credit card out. And, of course, they declined the credit card. so I didn't get it. But, yeah, he was good. He was very good. And I remember having the production meetings before the show, and Don would sit there, and I said, Don, you got it? And he went, yeah, I guess. And he'd just go out there and he'd wing it for 2 hours. And of course, he relied on Mike Tenay to give all the facts, and he'd just throw some tidbits in, and he'd go from there. But both of them worked very, very good together. One of the reasons I think they worked good together is because they didn't bicker back and forth. So you see, a lot of times back in that era, you'd always have your color guy and your straight guy, your play-by-play guy. They would argue back and forth. And sometimes it got actually a little serious. I remember Jim Ross and Paul Heyman getting into some arguments, and where it would look like they were actually really getting pissed off at each other. Now, I did that too when I did Smoky Mountain, but I'm mostly kidding. But with these two, with Heyman and JR, they acted like they really got mad at each other, which actually took away from the product. See, they didn't really need that, but they were actually bickering over who got the last comeuppance. It seemed like to me, whether that was true or not. But they were good together too.